policies or the procedures to actually go ahead and book birthday parties or events using Revel POS. At this point, we're going to use the calendar that's in there. It's a new feature, and we'll go through the process as far as creating an invoice and an order and everything. So first, we're just going to go ahead and log in. We have come to our regular Revel screen that we're all know and love and we're familiar with. Now, if you look over to the top right-hand side of the screen, we go ahead and we see that we have some right up here. We got the search, and then we got this little item right here. If we go ahead and click on that, goes and does the brings the POS into full screen. And then we also have this feature right here, which is the calendar feature. And what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and click on the calendar feature and bring up the calendar. All right, perfect. Now here we have the calendar, and it's just like any calendar you've seen on a computer before. You know, you can go ahead and move around on the iPad, you know, between the different times. Right now it's Sunday, May 3rd. We could go over to May 4th. We could go over to May 5th, what have you. We could go ahead and even click on the top as well to go through. And we have this little calendar. We could actually go ahead and specifically go to another date, year, what have you. All right, so here we're going to go ahead and book a party. And you see I have a party already booked right here at 4 o'clock on May 4th. But we're going to go ahead and book a party right now. So it's very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to click on the new appointment. Here we have the different birthday party packages. If this would be for a camp, a school, or an event, there may be other packages as well offered for those particular items. But in this case, right now we're focusing on birthday parties. So let's go ahead and click on the Deluxe Dreamhouse package. Puts a little blue highlight around it, and click OK. So now what we got to do is we're going to go ahead and click on the time right around. Really, you're clicking on just about any place on the calendar, but it's really important that you're clicking on the actual date that you want, right around the time. So let's go ahead and click on Tuesday, May 5th, right around the 2 o'clock. And it brings us up an option. Here, we can search for the guests to see if they've been here before. And like, for instance, if we were doing myself, I would just click on my name. Or we could go and enter a new name for a customer. So for this instance, if we were to go ahead, we're going to enter the first name, last name, their email, their phone number. Birthday reference and group is not needed. Now for notes, you might go ahead and put any particular information in for this particular guest. Let's say, for instance, if this was Superman, you might want to put a keynote that says, make sure there's no kryptonite in the building. But that we can go ahead and use for any information that may be helpful. We're also going to want to click on the manage address. And here we would go ahead and, well, let me click on it because I haven't entered the name yet. But here we'll go ahead and be able to put their address in here as well. So now we have their full contact information that we can use later on. Click on OK. Well, didn't fill out the form, so let's cancel. So let's say once we did click on it, it will go and pop up with the customer. And then we'll go ahead and select the particular customer. And then here we're going to go ahead and create an appointment. Perfect. Now what we have right here is the appointment. It's going to be for May 5th is the date we're choosing, which is correct, but the time isn't 100% accurate. So let's go ahead and fix that time. Let's put it down to 2 o'clock. Now you see right here we have an option to either text or email the confirmation. I would not worry about doing this at all, because when it does send it, the email is very brief. All it says is you've been confirmed for this date, this time, that's it. Let's go ahead and leave the email confirmations out, something a little bit more personal that we could send them. But what we do have is this area right here, appointment notes. Now what I want to do is I want to use this area for any interactions that we do have with the guest. What we're going to do is we're going to use the format of doing the date for today's date, which is the 3rd, and then your initials. So this tells me that this note was entered on May 3rd by myself. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use this for any particular pertinent notes. So if we just booked a birthday party, you're going to want to write, hey, this is the birthday child's name, what the name is. Or you might want to go and put how old the birthday child is turning. Well, let's just say, for instance, if the mother or father or somebody calls tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and put May 4th with whomever speaks with them and mark whatever notes or questions they may have here. This is going to help us to keep a history of a dialogue between us and our guests that could be helpful going further down the road. Let's just say if we want to go to make some changes to the actual customer itself, we could click on Edit Customer, And here we could go ahead and update the phone number, or we could even update any particular billing information or notes as well. So let's click OK. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we have the information. It's going to be for 2 o'clock, May 5th. We got our information in the appointment notes. Let's go ahead and click Create. Boom. It puts it right there on the calendar just where we want it. Now we have the information in the calendar. What we don't have is we don't have the information in for our billing, and we don't have an opportunity to take a deposit yet. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and create an opportunity to bill it out. So we're going to click on the appointment one more time, click on Go to Tab. Here, it creates a tab, which we're familiar with. We've seen it before, just like when we've taken, purchases for tickets or retail and so on and so forth. What we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit different right here. We have this little envelope. The envelope right here. Now what we're going to do with that envelope is we're going to go ahead and click on the envelope, and that creates an invoice. You notice up at the top it says invoice. All right, perfect. So now we have an invoice. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and take a deposit. Now we're probably going to go ahead and have it be a 40% deposit, but just for today, I'm just going to go ahead and take $100. Actually, I'm going to make it $115, just to be a little crazy here. So I type in $115. Then I have the option of clicking on either cash or credit. Being that I'm not going to run this on my credit card, I'm going to click cash to have it be on EMS today. So I click on cash. Notice what it did is it changed the total and the balance due. It changed by $115, which is perfect. So now we have the invoice, it's all created, we have the deposit that's been taken. Everything is just perfect right now, and we can go on and take care of our next guest. We'll go ahead and click Hold Invoice. The invoice is now in our system for the time that the party does come in. So let's say now let's move forward. It's now May 4th. The party comes in, we're ready to go ahead and bill it out. Not a problem. What we're going to do is we're going to click up on the orders, and we're going to go ahead and click Outstanding Invoices. That shows us all the invoices that are out ready. We're going to look for the correct customer. If, for instance, we did have the invoice number, we could certainly have searched by that as well, or search by the guest name, but I have it right here. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and pick on the one that is correct. The invoice, perfect. Everything's up on the screen. Now we're ready to take payment. But we may want to add a few more things. You know what, they opted to go ahead and have the pizza as well. So we'll add the pizza on. It adds it to the total. For instance, let's say if we needed to apply any discounts, we can certainly apply the discounts here. If this was tax exempt, we can remove tax exempt. We can do just about everything as we would using the normal Revel system. Now what we're going to do is it's time to take payment for the rest of the party, and then that's where we would go ahead and click the payment, and then take the remaining balance, which whatever method of payment you're looking to do. Okay, very simple. Okay, let's go ahead and close that out. So it's very simple, it's just like everything else. But the one thing we did fail to mention is that we want to take this from an invoice and push it over to an order. Very simple to do that. So before we take payment, or we take the final payment that is we're going to go ahead and convert it over to an order, which all you do is you click back on the envelope, makes it turn it into an order. We're going to click yes. Now, what is the difference between an invoice and an order? Well, an order is going to be all the transactions we want to do for today. So if this was May 4th, then we want to make it an order, do the transaction. Now let's say if this birthday party was coming in June 1st. What we want to do is we want to keep it as an invoice, because any payments that we make prior to the guest being here is going to be an invoice. It's going to be basically a ticket that's held out in the cloud until the guest is ready to use it. So if they wanted to come in and make a payment on May 10th, we could, but we want to make the payment as a deposit, which is the only way you can do a deposit is when it's an invoice. So make sure it's an invoice. The day of the party, when they're taking payments to close out, we're going to convert it from an invoice over to an order. And again, it's really simple. Invoice, click in that little envelope, and it changes to an open envelope, and along the top it says invoice. Create an order, click on that, ask us if we want to turn it to an order, and the envelope becomes a regular envelope. So once it's the order, we can go ahead and take the payment as I described, or we can even go ahead and just let's just say if the guest is going to go ahead and run to get their credit card from their husband or what have you, we can hold it momentarily by pressing it hold, and then when we're ready to go ahead and pull it back up, click on held orders, and then we pull up the held order that we have, and then we can go ahead and make any changes, ads, discounts, what have you. We can go ahead and do that. But let's take a step back for a second. Let's just say if the guest calls before May 4th and they want to make a change to the party. They want to change the date. Not a problem. Let's go ahead and click on the calendar like I just did. We're going to go over to the party date, and let's see, I think the party was for the 5th. Alright, well, we'll choose this party, 2 o'clock party. What I'll do is I would click on it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click edit. If I want to change the time, I can click on the time, and let's see, we're going to go ahead and move it over to Tuesday at 2:30. All I do is I click update, and now it moves the party over to Tuesday at 2:30. If I want to go ahead and make a change to the actual package, not a problem. We'll click on edit, service, and then we'll change the package. However, what does not happen is that it does not change it on the tab. If we go ahead and look over here, go back to the tab, the party package is still showing the Dreamhouse package. Not a problem. What we do is we'll click on that. We'll hit return. Did not want product. Okay. Return to inventory. Yes. No, we're not going to refund it because we're still keeping their deposit. And then here we can go into the correct package and we'll choose the correct package and select it for Party Z. But wait, there's more. You're probably wondering what Party Z is all about. It's very simple. What we do is, let me go ahead and hold the order. In the calendar, this is an appointment calendar. So we have to assign it to a particular person, or in this case, category. What I did is I created Party Z. In the future, you're going to see other options up here, such as school trip, group, event, what have you. Those are going to be specific to the type of event we're booking. For the birthday party, since we only have one birthday party, we're only going to have one Party Z out there, so that we can't book 2 parties at the same time. Eventually, we might be doing school trips here. We may be able to do more than one school trip at the same time, so we'll have school trip 1, school trip 2, and so on, so that we can book multiple school trips. Now, at the final thing, if you do decide you want to go ahead and cancel, it's not a problem. Let's go over to the date. Let's click on the party. We're going to go ahead and click cancel appointment, and now it cancels it from the actual calendar. Let's go take a look back. Even though it canceled from the calendar, the invoice or the held order is still open. So in that case, we would have to go ahead and cancel it and process the return and the refund as we would for any other items that we do a refund for. Now keep in mind the policies for the cancellations and deposits, it's going to change from location to location. So be sure to check with the manager and see what the actual cancellation policy is for your location, as well as the percentage of deposit we're taking. If you do have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call or email me.